I'm John GRAFFT, and I love Chicago real estate. Between showings, I stop in my favorite places, talk with local business owners, and bring their story to you. This is my Chicago.
And I bought it from him, and he was he's an artist, you know, and there were cranes and sculptures and all that. And then I don't remember, so long ago. Maybe it took me a year to redo it all. We knocked down a little bit of it for some outside space, filled in a couple things here and there, rebuilt all the windows and everything. They were like that, but we made all new ones and everything. So it just the walls and the floors are cool, so I just kind of left those, you know, cleaned them up and that sort of thing. So I always super insulate buildings.
Okay.
I like that. So it's a cold. I hate the cold.
Yeah.
So put in nice heat and all that, radiant heat and all that sort of stuff. So it's a fun place. Fun place. Yeah.
It's got to be tough with your background to do a project because you must have a lot of ideas for it and you want it executed properly.
The more you did, the more you'd ruin it, I think.
Yeah.
And just kind of leave it. Yeah. So I just thought, you know, we super insulate it, really nice mechanicals and all that sort of thing. Clean it. And kind of leave it.
Yeah.
Kind of leave it, yeah. I mean, we built some stuff in, some fireplaces and cabinetry and probably stuff you didn't see. There's a room that we block off.
Okay.
But kind of just left it, really. So,
was the idea always for it to be what it is now, or was it a home?
it was always just going to be my house.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then we had a big party, I don't know, 5 years ago or something, like a big party. And a couple of people saw it and said, we want to rent it for TV shows or whatever.
Oh, that's how it started?
And it just kept on going. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
So it was all right.
So now it's a good income stream, probably.
It's really good. It's really, really good. I would recommend it if you can do it. Yeah. You know, one day pays for your month, your mortgage and everything else. So it is nice. It is nice. I do it with a few different buildings. We do it here. I've got some buildings in Cuba I do it with there for productions and stuff. So yeah, it's a good way to go.
Your place is in Cuba?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Pain in the ass. But interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
How'd you get involved in those?
When Obama, maybe, I don't know, six or 7 years ago, Obama got real close with them and opened it up again.
Yeah.
And the Cuban government said, okay, citizens can now own property because they couldn't for 70 years or whatever it was. And I was there the next day. We just started knocking on doors and buying buildings.
Really?
Yeah. And the Cubans own it technically, but I put all the money in, but they could, like tomorrow, say, thank you very much, it's my building.
Nice to see you, yeah.
Last week, the government said foreign companies can own property.
Okay.
So everybody but the US, because they still hate the US. So I've got companies in Argentina, so I'll have those companies buy it up. So hopefully it'll turn out okay. But if you ever get a chance to go, it's pretty interesting.
I've wanted to. My cousins went as soon as it opened up.
Yeah.
And had only good things to say.
Yeah.
Is it developing more there?
In the last 4 years, 4.5 years or 5 years, it's worse than ever.
Okay.
Really bad. Really, really bad. But it's going to start getting better. And Biden says it's not his first priority, but he understands it and he'll do something. But he's got other stuff to do first.
And he's trying to mend the relationships there?
Yeah. So we'll see. The Cubans like Americans. It's Americans that don't like Cubans.
Okay.
So that's more what it is. Cubans just want money any way they can get it because it's so poor. So it really is pretty bad. Pretty bad.
And I imagine all that sentiment is old sentiment. So if you have younger, newer people, they're just like, let us in. Let's do it.
Yeah, they don't care. They want the internet. They want TV. They want all that stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They don't care at all. They think it's stupid. The old folks, but the old folks in Miami and they're pretty powerful. So they I forget who's the governor down there. He's a Nazi basically. I can't remember his name. But you know, it'll turn pretty quickly, I think. I think so. But if you get a chance to go, it's an easy flight and it's
up there on the list. It's like
cheap as hell. So
is it?
oh yeah. You know, for $100 a day, you'd live like an absolute king.
Yeah.
Yeah, for $50 a day you would. So yeah, it's not, I'd recommend it. Wait till it starts getting cold here and it seems even better.
Had you been there prior, going through different countries?
Yeah.
How long have you been going there?
30 years?
Wow.
Something like that.
So a real long time.
Yeah.
You said Argentina too?
Yeah, it's my favorite place in the world. So and right now it's unbelievably cheap. Their finance minister, not retired, quit about 2 weeks ago. So the peso has gone right to hell.
Really?
So Friday, I don't know what it's at today, but Friday it was 350 to 1, and it used to be 1 to 1. So a dinner, like breakfast, full-blown breakfast is $1.
Wow.
Dinner for 4 people, drinks, wine, killer food, maybe $50 at like a really great restaurant.
Is that affecting hard assets too?
I don't think they have any anymore, to tell you the truth. So they've borrowed so much money that it's all just going to hell. So the dollar is very, very powerful, and it's I go to Buenos Aires mostly, but it's a fantastic city, fantastic. So I always say it's prettier than Paris and cooler than New York.
Okay.
So it's pretty good.
I was just in Mexico City.
Fantastic.
And I was blown away.
Yeah.
I felt cheated my whole life. I felt like we've been propagandized to not go there with kidnappings and all these different things.
It's happening.
It's the best. It's to your comment about New York is what made me think about it. Like, this is a better city than New York.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool as hell.
Yeah.
I haven't been in about 2 years, but the restaurants are fantastic. The little shops are cool as hell. Buenos Aires is even better. It's even better.
Really?
Yeah, it's good.
I spent a month in Brazil before, and that was my biggest letdown. Of like, I didn't tack that on because I've always wanted to go there. That'd be my number 2 trip.
Don't tell the Brazilians that.
Yeah.
They hate them.
Yeah, I know, it's different, right?
Mostly soccer related. What were you doing? Just hanging out, or?
I married a Brazilian before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
And now I'm on my second marriage. And my wife is pregnant. She's 5 months pregnant. We're doing our like 20-week thing this Thursday.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you know boy, girl?
No, waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, we're doing a home birth too, so it's like a whole thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
You excited?
Yeah, very excited.
That's a little, I like that.
Yeah.
Very good. Very
It's
good.
only true surprise, and I mean, I've heard more bad stories in hospitals than good stories.
True.
It's too
True.
business-like. And I
Yeah.
don't want my wife to be talked into anything while she's under duress, and I think that's what happens a lot.
Yeah. Huh. But you have the safety measures there and all that.
Less than a mile away,
Yeah,
right?
that's fine.
If something goes so bad, and if we have any complications leading up to it, we're going straight to the hospital.
Yeah.
We'll be right at Northwestern.
But you know what? 90, who knows what the number is? 95% of the people don't get born in a hospital.
Exactly.
And haven't for
more
20 billion
more
years.
births every year are happening outside the hospital.
Yeah. So it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Very cool.
We're excited
So
for it.
if so, August, September, October, November, like November, something
November or
like that.
December, yeah.
That'd be cool.
The doctor's doing, the first estimate was December 10th, and then this new appointment will give us a new date.
Yeah, excellent. How old are you?
35.
That's a good age.
I think so.
You kind of got your shit together and
Yeah.
and all that. Yeah.
I waited. I wanted to have kids when I was prepared to have kids. And my first marriage, I got married too young, to just not enough experience. Learned that, livened up from that. And then I think I'm ready for this.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Very
We thought it
good.
would take longer, and we just got pregnant really quick.
Cool.
Yeah, because everyone we know has issues here and there.
Very good. Very good.
What
That's
brought
exciting.
what brought you to Argentina?
I went there to buy stuff.
Is that what brings you everywhere?
Kinda.
Yeah.
Tell you the truth. Because I always, there's places I'm supposed to go all through Scandinavia and Latvia and Lithuania and like start next week, I think, about a week. And I can't buy much there, but I just want to go there. But any other place, I'll buy something.
Why can't you buy much?
You could, I guess, and you could. I just don't think I will. But I always say that. So yeah, I'm going with a girlfriend. It's just like, we're not going to buy anything. We'll just go. So, but I'll buy something, I'm sure.
I imagine you're a logistical magician.
No, that's my buddy from Argentina does it all.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I hate that.
It's got to be one of the hardest parts, moving these things around.
That the physical part, no problem. That's fine, and that's not something you want to be good at, because then it's like, now you got to do it.
But I feel like you need to, because what if something happens to it?
Or somebody that's more like it. You could very easily get hurt. But no, I'm really good at that. Loading trucks. But it's not something you really grow up and say, I want to load trucks. It's like, no thanks. But the logistics of getting the containers and talking to the customs brokers and the IRS and all this, my buddy from Argentina does it all.
Okay.
So I don't do any of it.
Did you meet him there?
Met him in Argentina.
And he was already doing that?
Yeah, he was. He's my best friend, and he's an economist by trade. But his family was in the antique business, so he liked antiques more than being an economist. So he just did it, and I was buying a lot from his brother, and he noticed that I buy all this weird stuff like nobody else buys. Everybody else bought traditional antiques, and I bought all this weird stuff. And he figured in his head that all the traditional, French, English, European antiques, 18th century stuff, it's all going to be gone pretty quickly. And so he won't be able to ship for those people anymore because they'll be out of business. So he came up to me and said, I can ship for you better and cheaper. And he did. So he's still doing it for me. This is 25 years later. So I talk to him about every 2 hours, probably. We got a container that came into Philadelphia yesterday, and the Argentines checked it, took everything out, the dogs, everything, and kind of destroyed about everything. And now the customs here want to do the same thing. It's like, oh man. And I have to pay them for them to destroy my stuff. So we're trying to just give them some money and say, just leave it alone. It's already been checked and approved and everything else. So he deals with all that.
How does that work in terms of, so someone sets up the container in, let's say it's Argentina, and then that docks in Philadelphia.
Yep.
And then they take everything out to inspect it?
They just want to inspect it. It's not.
Are they doing it in Argentina?
They did that. They did it already.
Okay.
Yeah, and they messed everything up. Then they just cram it back in.
Do they remove it all? Do you have to pay someone?
They won't let you near it. So you have to pay them to take it out.
Can you even watch it happen?
Guillermo was there, and they had the dogs out and everything, and he started petting the dogs because he loves dogs. And then they made him literally go stand in a corner because they thought he was going to mess it up. And what partially saved us, is, and Guillermo's on the phone with me every 5 minutes, they're wrecking everything, but you can't do anything. And a friend of his, I guess it was the IRS guy, because if you say you paid $1,000 for this, they want to look at it and say, yeah, okay, $1,000, that makes sense. You can't say you paid $10 because then the taxes and everything. So the IRS guy came, and it was one of Guillermo's best buddies from college. He hadn't seen him since college.
Wow.
And he said, oh, so I think we paid him extra $400, and the guy said, go.
Great.
So that was okay.
I didn't even think about the IRS component. So they're looking at every item as it's coming in?
Yeah, because you could say a painting, an oil painting, and it could be $1,000 painting, or it could be $1 million painting. So they want to know every single thing you put in there, and it's a pain in the ass. So they know, nobody tells the real price, but you have to be real. You can't be a complete thief with it. If you paid $1,000, say you pay $700, they're okay with that, but you can't say $100. Then you're in trouble.
Well, I imagine too, you're not going to have receipts for everything.
Yeah, we do usually. Yeah,
Okay.
But I don't know what it means particularly.
When you go somewhere, are you going to a place like this and buying things, or are you just like how do you find these?
There used to be big stores there, and now there's only a few. But in Europe, yeah, I'll go to big stores and people that we know, or big warehouses, that kind of thing. But yeah, it depends on what the country is. Some of the antique business, they're just gone, a lot of it. So, but in Argentina, Guillermo's known the people for 45, 50 years.
He grew up there?
Through his family. I've met a lot of people there. So, and there aren't too many people going anymore, especially Americans. So they save stuff for us.
Okay.
So that's nice, and they'll save a lot of stuff for us. So it's pretty fun. In Europe, we know a lot of people there, so same sort of thing. Go to their store, go to their warehouse. Usually there's, like in Milan, there's one main guy that controls all the antiques, and he'll take us to all the different dealers. Then they'll take us to other dealers. There's different levels. So we try to hit all the levels from the lowest guy up to the highest guy and see what they got.
So you have one guy who's kind of like a fixer there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of works that way. Yeah.
I bet it streamlines it for you too.
Yeah, it's just, even if I'm buying from the third level down, that guy gets his piece.
He's getting something.
Yeah, guaranteed.
Sounds very Italian.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't mind it. I'd rather be offered the stuff than not. And they know us now in that we're not some goofy American just coming in.
Well, I bet they're not trying to rip you off as much too.
That's part of their culture, or business culture. The Italians, they will swear on their grandmother's grave that this is from, the 17th century. And I just, come on, guys, I know what I'm doing, just stop. And we got over that a long time ago, but you might have a lady, hey, I'm from Atlanta, and I'm an antique dealer, I'm a designer. It's brutal.
I bet.
And sometimes we just watch it for sport because it's so entertaining. Oh, you want $10,000? Okay, I'll buy it for $10,000. And the Italian guys are like, what? They'd sell it for $1,000 probably.
Yeah.
So, but it's interesting. It's interesting. So
I imagine that's something you pick up as you go along. The knowing where this is from, and how do you authenticate these things? Like,
it's. I always say the same thing. It's like, how does a baseball player hit a home run? He doesn't know. He just swings, and it's just natural. It's just natural. Not to say that I haven't been fooled. I have, but and the Italians are very good at it with marble and stone. But I don't know. You just see a lot of it. See how things are made. There's colors. There's quality. There's a lot of different things. It just tells you it's the real thing. Yeah, but not. Or fairly often I'll ask Guillermo, because Guillermo goes to Europe with me to do the logistics, and he knows antiques. I'll just say, gee, what do you think about this? Is this right or not? Because sometimes I can't quite figure it out. And also I can't see very well anymore. So it's like, I don't know what's going on here. So, but it's just a gut thing. You just know it. So, yeah.
Any particularly bad stories of getting hoodwinked or taken advantage of?
I bought a big... there's a big show in Parma twice a year. It's been going on for decades, and it's a really high-end show, really the best show in Europe. And there was a massive big pair of lions, carved, probably about as big as this rug. Beautiful, beautiful. They're bigger than life-size carved lions, left and a right.
Wow.
And I looked at it and said, the carving was good. And I thought, they're probably new. And the guy said, no, they're old. And I said, they're probably new. But I bought them, and I paid a lot for them. And after I bought them, I looked at them really super close after that. They're new. But I ended up putting them in an auction and saying they're new. And I still made money on them. So it was okay. But whenever we go, this guy has a very prominent, probably 5 or 6 booths at the show. And whenever we go by, we always give them. And we laugh. He laughs too. But we always go out of our way to be a little mean to him. And he says he doesn't care. I'm sure. But it worked out okay. But yeah, 99.9% of the time I know what it is. Yeah. So, and if I don't, it's shame on me. Shame on me. But I'll take a chance on lots of stuff. And just, I bought some lights the other day here. Giant, big, mid-century lights. Really fantastic. And they were a little bit rough. And I thought, but they're huge. I think they're like 8 feet across.
Wow.
They were out of a rest area on the Ohio Turnpike from the 50s. And they were a little beat up, and I knew I'd have to get them stripped and redone and all this sort of thing. I thought, well, that'll cost me a couple $1,000 each. And I took it to my guy. It was more like $4,000 or $5,000. But I thought, well, they're probably still worth it, and I'm glad I took a chance on them, and because they're just so cool. So I don't get fooled too often.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that. Yeah. And if I do, it's like, okay, next. Yeah.
Whenever you're out, what do you call it? You call it shopping? Sound like adventures.
They're always adventures, that's for sure. Always adventures. Yeah, I guess it's going shopping.
Yeah.
We're going out to buy stuff.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Are you always doing it for yourself in the store, or are you ever commissioned by anyone to do it?
I won't do commissions with other people because I always use, somebody says, Stuart, I want a blue elephant, 2 feet tall, 3 feet wide, blah, blah, blah. And I find the perfect one, and I buy it. And I said, well, here it is. Oh, I don't like the shade of blue. So 30 years ago, I stopped doing that.
Okay.
Since I buy what I like, and it seems to have resonated with other people that they like it too. So, and if everything sells, so, if I might, like now I would just say, okay, I'd call up, hey Bill, I found your blue elephant, go talk to this person, and you guys make your own deal, and that sort of thing. I like doing that, just trying to be friendly about it all. So, but yeah, I buy what I like, and it's mostly turned out pretty well. Yeah, mostly.
Look around us.
Yeah.
This spot's really cool. How did this happen?
I sold my old building in.
It's such a beautiful place. I'd only been there once.
It was a nice building.
Yeah,
it was a nice building. So we were there 30-something years. Sold that. Sold the event business. Sold the building, and just said, I'm done.
What are they doing with it?
Events again.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And I think it's the gentleman's got a spirits business. I think it's kind of their headquarters for the spirits business also. A neat building, really neat building. So I said, I'm done. Ran around for a couple of years, all over the place, all over the world. And we bought this building like 3 years ago, and we were going to build a hotel up on top.
I heard, yeah.
And do all this sort of thing. But, hotel business is a little tough these days. So we said, okay, we'll do more antiques. So I said, okay, I'll do it. What the hell? So jump back in. And I've been buying for the last couple of years too. So I can get the business out of my blood. I can't get the stuff out of my blood.
I bet.
Yeah, I never thought I'm going to use that again.
Yeah.
The business I can do without, but the stuff I still like doing it.
Well, it's got to be something that's fulfilling to see something you want, or know what you can do with it, or know the value of it that maybe this person doesn't recognize, and take it somewhere and sell it.
I've always thought that was kind of my thing, where I see life to something where other people don't, or I like to say bring it to another level. Not that it means it has to be more expensive or anything. Just there's new life for things, and some of it I use in my buildings, but it is gratifying, satisfying when somebody else sees this. Oh, I just love that. I'm going to use this for whatever reason. I like it, and it's a nice byproduct, but it's always about the stuff. Yeah.
How do you develop that eye, that sense?
I think the eye developed, I guess, with my parents. Our family fun was going to museums all over the East Coast, and so
Is that where you grew up?
Yeah. So I was introduced, I suppose, or exposed to nice quality things and different things and old things, and I guess I got it there. I don't know. I always liked things that were quality, always liked things that were big. I don't know why, because nobody else had them. And it was always me, a little, probably when I was younger, a little bit of thumbing my nose at the antique business. It was a little bit, you know, hoity-toity and all that. I said, this stuff's fun. Let's have some fun with it. And it's, you know, nobody needs any of it. It's just nice to have. So, yeah, let's have some fun with it. Yeah.
Immediately, when we were talking before this, there's no pretentiousness, no, I have the nicest things and you can only get them here and they're sourced from all.
I can get into that if you like.
I bet you could. But you also seem very down to earth and you know who you are and what you have.
You know, not that I haven't been arrogant about this stuff before. I'm sure I have. But it's just stuff. And we do have nice quality things. Most people think of an antique store. It's not really what we're about. No, here it comes. Here comes the arrogance. We just do things differently than other people, and it's nice quality stuff. But as far as the attitude, I mean, we go out and get it. We load the trucks. We unload the trucks. We clean it. We do everything. So it's a little hard to get too swishy about it, I think. And it's just, I mean, this is me. We got boots. I put on long pants just for the interview. So you know, we do have nice quality things, but we like to have fun with it, I guess. That's mostly what it is.
Have you always been doing this?
It's what I've always done. I was trained as an archaeologist,
Really?
college-wise, and so
Where'd you
that's
go to school?
University of Tennessee.
For archaeology?
Yeah.
That's
yep.
really cool.
Yeah. So
that lends its name to the artifacts part too.
Yeah, you know, it's the only thing I messed up on is archaeology, anthropology. I want to do all that when I was, you know, a senior or whatever. But I never read the fine print because Tennessee was a forensics anthropology. So when somebody dies, you know, CSI and all that. Mm-hmm. That's what that school was all about.
Okay.
So you might as well have been a doctor, you know, because it's very medical related. I just wanted to dig stuff up, you know. So we did a lot of that, but it was pretty fun, and it naturally lent itself to all this too. So it was good.
Being on the East Coast, how'd you end up in Tennessee, or why'd you decide on that school?
I don't have this. Well, do you really want to know?
Yeah, I'm curious.
You know, I got accepted to some good schools, Penn, Cornell, Brown, and how I ended up going to Tennessee, I was pretty wild when I was young, and this is in the mid-'70s, and I thought, you know what, Tennessee's got better drugs than these other schools, and literally that's why I chose it. And I was right, but you know, many years ago. So, and it turned out fine. It was good. It was fine. Yeah.
Did you graduate from there?
I didn't.
Yeah.
7 years, and I didn't. I had enough credits in anthropology, Afro-American studies, geology, and geography. I had enough to graduate in all of them, and I just never graduated. But I went for a long time.
Were you doing something else that was more important to you at the time?
I was engaged in activities that are frowned upon, mostly.
Okay.
So was it more important to me then? Yes. Did it turn out to be very useful? No. So yeah, I was always entrepreneurial, we'll say.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah.
When did you start in this?
You know, I really started doing all this when I was 7 years old. I really did. I saved my money, cut grass, and shoveled snow, and delivered papers. And I saw a stained glass window that I liked in one of our family outings.
Really?
And it was $100, and I saved up my $100.
That's like $1,000.
Now, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it was, I bought this big stained glass window, and my parents thought I had lost my mind. And I had it for a long time, long time. So it's the first thing I ever bought. Yeah, it was fun.
How do you build this business? Like, how do you see things, accumulate them, have the capital to do it? There seems like there's so many moving pieces.
I would just buy and sell, really. You know, you buy and maybe go onto a wrecking where they're wrecking a big, beautiful building and buy 20 pieces. I just go out to the local dealers and try to sell it.
Okay.
So maybe you sell 15 of them and you got 5 left and you got your money back. You go on to the next one. Now you got 10 pieces left. So we had all this stuff, good stuff that you just didn't sell immediately. And I opened up a warehouse on Ravenswood many years ago and just kept buying and selling, traveling around the country and everything. And pretty soon I had a giant warehouse full of stuff. And I opened it up one Sunday, put an ad in the reader and opened it up. And lots of people came.
Yeah.
And we sold lots of stuff. So I thought, well, I'll open it next weekend. And we just kept doing that. And it wasn't, I never wanted to have a store, never even thought about it. It just evolved, to tell you the truth. Then you go out and buy for it and do all sorts of deals. And we ended up buying buildings and getting into real estate and all that sort of thing. So, but I never wanted to, it just came about. So, and it turned out pretty good.
When buildings are being demolished, how do you get involved in that process before it comes down to get some of the things that are inside?
The wrecking business is a very interesting business. So when I came to Chicago, I didn't really know anybody. So I found the 3 biggest wrecking companies, National, Cleveland, and there was another one, I can't remember the name of it. And I didn't have a lot of money, maybe I had $20,000. And I went out and went to each wrecking companies, and this was in the mid-'80s. I went to the wrecking company's office and said, who's your main guy out in the field? I want to talk to him. And I went and found out who it was, went on the site too, and I gave each one of the guys $5,000. And I said, next time cash, I just gave it to him. And call me next time a building comes down. And they were wrecking a lot of Chicago then, a lot downtown, Michigan Avenue. And it was the best money I ever spent. And they did. They called me up and said, hey, come on, we got this. Got to be cash. Got to get it. And worked really well. So it's the best money I ever spent. And just sort of meet people from there and just keep going. And they remember you if,
They put money in their hands, yeah.
They definitely remembered.
It's amazing looking at old photos of Chicago because you see buildings like the Tribune Tower and you're like, there were buildings like this everywhere. And there aren't anymore.
Yep.
And I wasn't around for it. Because you watch those come down.
Yeah, unfortunately. Michigan Avenue it was the Magnificent Mile. Well, it's a strip mall now as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
There were beautiful buildings. I bought a beautiful photograph, a big giant photograph last week of, I think it's Chicago in the 40s, and Tribune Towers there, all these buildings are there, but it was kind of flat and it's built up now, but it's a great photograph of, you can identify a few buildings, and the rest of it just wasn't a lot there, but it's sure built up now. So, I understand when a building outlives its usefulness.
The life cycle.
Yeah, I think so.
I think every building has one.
I think so, and I get it. It's not useful anymore, or there's a better use to it. But at least save the stuff when it comes down.
Yeah.
And Chicago's been a little negligent on all that.
Okay.
But and also Chicago used to be known as the Queen City of American architecture, and maybe they.
Birthplace of the skyscraper.
Yeah. And it's I think they could have promoted it a little bit better and saved a little bit more, or at least have a museum of Chicago architectural history,
cool.
something. So I think they missed the boat there, but
at a minimum, you'd get industry support for that.
Sure.
Just the industry itself would make that survive and make it lively.
I would think so. You go to the real estate people.
Yeah.
You go to big business. Yeah. So I'm sure there's a a museum here about the hot dog. Everything everything in Chicago. Oh, there's a hot dog, or Al Capone, or whatever. But
I see those tour buses every day.
yeah, so why not do it with the Chicago Architecture Foundation? Did some. They're pretty good. They've got their boat rides and all that. But
that's one of the best tours you can take in Chicago.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah,
it's really good.
I take it every couple of years just because.
Yeah, when people come from out of the country or out of the city, everybody wants to do that.
Yeah,
it's a good thing. Yeah, it's a good thing.
So when you get to these sites, how do you know what to take? Like when the building's coming down, what's that opportunity, that window of opportunity like?
When a building's coming down, we used to know about it pretty quickly. Like, hey, in 2 weeks this building's coming down. It's not like that anymore for a lot of different reasons. There's insurance, there's regulations, there's the older generation of wrecking guys has sort of given it to their kids. They're not so interested in saving anything anymore. The old guys really, they cared.
Yeah.
They cared. They also liked the money, but you save what you can as quickly as possible. And we used to, Block 37 was a great example. I mean, we tied ourselves off with ropes and let ourselves out the window to save stuff, which I wouldn't even think of anymore.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't let you do it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we asked. We just said, hey, we're going to go get those. We don't want to know how.
What were you taking off? How would you do it?
Big terracotta heads and stuff off the side of the building, but we would risk our lives to do it. I don't think I will anymore.
Yeah.
But and there's myself and a couple other guys who we still do it together, and so you just get what you can really. And some buildings just get knocked down, bam, and some they go floor by floor by floor by floor. So there might have been a terracotta assembly 3 stories tall. So the first day we'd get like the head. A couple days later we'd get the neck.
Literally, like physically, how are you doing this?
Hammer and
chiseling these things out.
Yeah. Well, I always say we take the building away from the piece, not the piece away from the building.
Okay.
Because we just go around it basically. But if you fell or messed up, you're dead.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'll do it anymore. And they wouldn't even allow you to do it anymore. So, but we just took out a big, beautiful marble mantle a couple weeks ago out of a big mansion on the lake, and I don't know, I think it was about 8 feet wide, one big giant hunk of marble, all carved, about a foot thick and about a foot deep, and it was, I don't know how many pounds it was, maybe 1,200 pounds or something, and it was about 6 feet off the ground, which is just high enough to be extremely awkward. So we had to figure out how to do it, and I do everything by hand. I don't like machines too much. And it was in the middle of somebody's living room too. So
were they remodeling?
They were going to tear the house down, which was good.
Yeah.
But they were.
So they don't care.
They didn't. They were still going to live in the house for a few weeks. The kids were. They're college-age kids. I think they were going to have a giant party. I think. But we got it down. But even, you crush your finger, crush your hand. Who knows what? So you got to be careful of yourself and the piece itself. So. And I like doing all that. It's fun.
It's got to be cool to have a business component, this like visceral, very involved component, as well as the sales side to it, and the searching. I mean, the searching and seeking has to be part of the glory.
Search and seek's everything to me. That's and every antique dealer will tell you that. But it's the thrill of the hunt and all that sort of thing. Because when I go to the big markets in Europe, I have no idea what I'm going to see. You have no idea. You don't even. Like, why would this even exist?
Yeah.
This kind of stuff. So that's the fun of it. I like that a lot. But there's that. There's the aesthetic part of it. Well, this is a beautiful thing. That's nice. There's the logistics. They're all very simple things. I think, at least. They're all, it's like a caveman. Ugh, I like it. Ugh, get. That's kind of how I look at it. Give me your thing, I'll give you a bunch of money.
I can see that. It's very basic in nature.
It's very basic.
You can call it primitive, but it is on its core foundation, but it's also what everything's about in life.
Sure. I mean, you have that, I have this, let's trade.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of times, I don't speak Italian, I don't speak a lot of the languages that I'm dealing with, but somehow we get it across pretty easily that, yeah, you want to get rid of that, I want to get rid of this money, let's figure a way out to do it.
When trade is involved, the languages seem to not matter as much.
Yeah, and the very first people did that because they were hungry or wet or cold or whatever, and that's, there's a pretty good motivation to get it done.
The house on the lake where the mantle came from.
Yeah.
How did they find you? How did that come about?
The people that had owned the house previously bought that mantle from me.
Okay.
Years ago, and it was a really.
Oh, that's cool.
It's an important mantle. The original is in the Louvre, and it's a strange story, and I wouldn't believe it if I didn't live it. But I had one of these. I had a bigger one of these same mantles. It's about 10 feet across that I got in Minneapolis years ago. And I was in the Louvre one day looking, and somebody called me, and I couldn't get reception. So I went over to the window to get better reception, and I looked, and here's the original mantle. It's like a 14th century Italian carved marble mantle from a big estate. I can't remember what it was. And I thought, well, that's interesting. I've got that mantle. So the Italians at the turn of the century in the 1880s would make marbles for the American market. So, rich Americans were getting rich, building big houses.
Yeah.
So the Italians built these and shipped them over. So I've had the same mantle 3 times, buying it and selling it a couple times.
Really?
So yeah, it was a long answer to your question, but I said, I know this mantle, and I found the pictures of us taking it apart years ago. So it was pretty good. It's pretty good. So.
I know you're leaving soon. How do you decide where you're going next? How do these come about?
To figure out where I'm going next is a lot of it's based on, it's based on 2 things, markets and weather. So I hate the cold. So in the winter I go to Argentina and South America and buy there, since it's summertime there.
Is that home base for wintertime?
In Buenos Aires, yeah. And then
I can't imagine what your place looks like there.
I don't own anything currently, but I've owned a few buildings there. But I used to live on a giant boat, giant wooden yacht that I bought, and it was one of the best times of my life.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. Fantastic.
Sailboat?
No, it was a wooden yacht. It belonged to a guy named Juan Fancia, we don't know him, but it would be like he was the greatest race car driver in the world at the time in the 50s. So it would be like Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
He was the best, and it was his boat. And during the previous crisis in Argentina, the dollar was really strong, and nobody could afford anything there. So I bought this boat, and it was a 72-foot long boat, all wood.
Big boat.
It was huge.
Yeah.
And I never took it out. I just lived on it.
Yeah.
And then it was like $300 a month for the slip, which was ridiculous. And then it became $3,000, then it became $10,000, and instead, forget it.
Yeah.
But I sold it to a friend, so he still has it.
That's awesome.
But it was a pretty neat thing.
He takes it out?
He does.
Yeah.
He does.
That's cool. It's still seaworthy.
It's a great boat, and we rented it out. I think BMW did some commercials on it, so we made our money back on it.
You're good at getting attention to these space. Anything you have, it seems like getting someone to pay you to use it.
It's. I should have done it much earlier, but it's a good way to do it, and it's. It's a good way to do things, I guess, and it gives me a chance to go do something else. But also it's if you buy a condo, there's going to be 10,000 other ones.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to take the risk of buying these strange things and all that sort of thing. I've got no wife or kids, so it's if I screw up, it's just me, so it's okay. I can afford to do my screw ups.
That pressure, I bet, allows you to take these larger risks.
Sure.
Or lack of pressure, rather.
Yes. Yeah. And it's, even if I had a wife and kids, I'd still do it probably, and they'd love it, I'm sure. But I'll take girlfriends with me or whatever, and they seem to like it too. So
I bet they love it.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun. So the one in Buenos Aires is called Puerto Madero, and it was sort of a swampland right at the base of the city. So it'd be looking at Manhattan from New Jersey. It's spectacular, but you're on a boat in the water.
That's cool.
And now it's a huge. They've built it up. It's huge, big. I don't know. Looks like New York or something. 20, 30 giant skyscrapers that weren't there when I was there. So a real neat area, really cool. So
I really have to make it there.
let me know and I'll set you up.
I will.
My Guillermo and his family, they'll take the best care of you. Yeah, it's fantastic. And warm. And warm. So the other part of that is I'll go on a trip when there's markets in Europe. So the next big markets are coming up at the end of September. So I'll go a few weeks earlier and go to the markets, and a few weeks after that.
So are these things that aren't like every weekend, or they're just?
No, it's the big one it's Parma in Italy, and it's twice a year, and there's probably 10,000 dealers, 5 to 10,000.
Whoa! So this space has to be enormous.
It's in the what do they call it? It's in the like at McCormick Place.
Okay.
Basically, but it's people think of a flea market here. It's not that. People might have a 20 by 20 area, and literally there'd be $10 million worth of stuff in there. Really high end, outrageous stuff. It's not here. I don't even want to talk about the flea markets here. I haven't gone to one in years. It's absolute. It's a joke.
Probably a waste of time.
It's a total waste of time, and it's in Europe. It's real business, and if you want to buy something, you better have your money out and buy it, or you're going to get elbowed and kicked.
Get out of the way.
Get out of the way.
Damn. So there's that many people going after these things.
Oh yeah. In European, it's a big business, and it's serious business.
And it must be people from all over the world.
Yeah,
The
a lot of
entire world
Russians,
there.
a lot of Japanese, a lot of Chinese, a lot of Koreans, mostly buying jewelry for the Asian folks.
Really?
But, it's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Where has this taken you that you never thought you'd go?
That's a great question. I guess it's taken me more into people's homes more than anything else. You always think, okay, I'm going to some town and I'm going to go to all the antique shops, see if I can buy anything. That's great, and that's kind of normal. But then we get invited to dinner, or we get invited to weddings, or quinceañeras, or whatever. So we really get invited into their families, to tell you the truth. And it's not just because we're spending money with them, but it's because there's a mutual respect or something. Yeah, they want to sell us stuff and we want to buy it, but it's more to it than that. There's some sort of kinship, and we're very friendly about how to do it. If you want to sell it to me, fine. If you don't, that's okay. I'll go spend my money down the 50 feet away or whatever. Mm-hmm. So that's where we've got into people's lives and homes and families, and I like that. It's nice. As far as geographically, I never thought about going to Nobody thinks about Buenos Aires and antiques, but it's a big center for it.
Threw me off. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of dead these days, but it was great. And Europe. I've been to buying stuff in Morocco and Egypt and India. A lot of good places. So, but mostly I think more on a personal. I never thought I'd get so personal with people, and I like that. I like that part. Yeah.
I imagine you feel an energy when you're traveling to these places, or you see something that you're very surprised to see. Is it still emotional for you? Do you still get worked up by it?
Yeah, I do. As I might have mentioned earlier, I had a wild youth, and I did other things to get me excited and motivated and pumped up and all that, and spent millions doing that. But when I stopped, I've been straight for many years now, and when I stopped, I needed something to replace all that, because I was pretty heavy duty into it. And luckily, I was already doing antiques, but I got into it, and that really replaced any high or anything, any adrenaline level and all that. And it is definitely an addiction. Yeah, I learned to turn it into it's a good addiction. I don't know what it is. I learned to channel it into something productive. Let's call it that, productive. So yeah, there's definitely high, and if you ask some of the guys that are on my team in Europe, they don't allow me to drink coffee there because I'm already like, let's go, and I get pretty excited about it. Yeah.
I'm thinking, what was in Parma, right?
Parma, yeah.
So I'm thinking about that, and if you have so many people waiting, lining up for things, how do you not make wrong decisions due to the pressure?
I do make wrong decisions sometimes.
Is it like one sale balances out the next, or how do you think of it?
No, with me, I never remember that I might have bought something 2 minutes earlier that was unbelievable, spectacular, the greatest thing ever, but I don't ever remember that. I remember the one screw up. That's what I remember.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah,
it's the worst.
It's actually
sobers you.
Yeah, it's a good sign. Like in here, everybody says, "What a beautiful building." I see the one nail up in the corner. It's like a curse or something. But if you don't make, there's a lot of people say if you don't make mistakes, you're not trying.
Yeah.
So usually I can at least get my money out of it, at least, or at least you have to consider logistics and all that sort of thing, and shipping and all that sort of thing. But I'll at least get back what I paid for it. And if not, sometimes I'll give it to somebody that it's like, it makes me feel better about it or something.
I can see that.
And then it's just like, okay, I don't need it anymore. It's just a mistake, whatever. But luckily there's not too many of those. Yeah. So,
how do you price these things?
As the pricing is, you can price it anything you want, because especially with our gear, nobody else has what we have, so there's really no way of pricing it. You just have to price it what you think you can get for it and make a profit, and hopefully it'll go away fairly quickly. Somebody will buy it quickly. So, a lot of people say, well, it would cost $20,000 to make that. And I think, well, why would anybody make it these days?
Yeah.
You wouldn't do it.
Well, and would the craftsman even be alive?
No, and you'd get it 9 years later.
Yeah.
So and people price that way. I said, that's crazy. It doesn't work that way. And people say, okay, I bought this for $1,000. It cost me $300 for my hotel. It cost me $600 to get it back here. Cost me $90 for gas. That's your problem. It doesn't make a piece more valuable.
The market doesn't care about that.
No, it's only what you can get for it. So we try to price it where it's a value for other people, and it's reasonable, and we make a profit and go on to the next one. That's. But there's no book or anything for this. Many antiques there is a book, but not for this, because it's just so wacky, all the stuff, so different. So, and you have to, a lot of times people will think, they'll walk in some cruddy little antique store that's all a mess and find something and they think, oh, it must be cheap because it's in this crappy little store. Go to the stores where the people know what they're doing, and they're going to price it properly. They're not going to put some crazy price on it. The more knowledge the dealer has, the more accurately it will be priced, and the more quickly it will sell and everything else. But the crummy little stores, don't let that fool you. A lot of people think, yeah, this was such a bargain. I bought it in a junk store, so it must be a good value. Yeah, probably not. Probably not. So, generalization, but it seems to work that way.
How did this space come about? I mean, you got a bug over there. I mean,
we heard about the building, and Robbie and I had been talking they were customers for years, and we had been talking about doing something together. We did a hotel in Nashville where the lobby was antiques. And I thought, well, that's, I don't have to get fully involved anymore. I put antiques there and they'll deal with it all. And this one, we heard about this building and thought, well, let's do the same thing. We'll build a hotel on top and put the antiques downstairs and all that sort of thing. And we'll put antiques in the rooms and everything else. Then COVID came and the hotel business kind of went to hell.
Yeah.
So we said, well, let's just open it up with all antiques. But we did the cafe. I think you can hear pickleball in the background. Somebody's playing. The restaurant, and we do events and all that sort of thing. So just it was just a beautiful space we liked. And what the hell? Let's try it again. Why not?
Living on the same street, I can't tell you how excited when I saw the sign go up. And I love how the A is off the building too, by the way.
Yeah.
Such a small detail, but such a great detail.
Yeah.
It really grabs your eye.
Yeah.
But I was so excited to learn what this was. Like this is what the neighborhood needs. There's like 5 towers going up here over the next 5 years or so.
Yeah, it's gonna, and everything with Moody Bible College, all the land they sold.
Oh yeah, JDL. Yeah, they're gonna put all that up.
Yep.
And then Ani with the 3 towers here, and there's just so much development that's gonna happen here. Plus, there's so many swaths of land right there that are just waiting.
I even think, unfortunately, probably the little churches are probably gonna go just because their land is so valuable.
I think they'd have to sooner than later.
It seems that way, but it's centrally located. It's a cool little area. I noticed buildings in Chicago, but I never really noticed this one, to tell you the truth. But now I thought, oh, that's a pretty cool building.
Yeah.
It's a neat building, really neat.
How much time, energy, effort went into all this? Because it's very well executed.
We bought it, I think, about 3 years ago, something like that. And it took us a while to figure out exactly what to do, but we pretty much redid the whole building. There was, the HVAC, tearing out ceilings and making this, getting more height, floors.
Well, I can't imagine the asbestos, lead, everything that was in
all
here.
that stuff was, it's all part of the fun.
Yeah.
All part of it. So, and the heating system was, there's a giant pipe underneath, I think that's there's a giant pipe under the school going over to the church, because they were all on the same heating system and everything.
Okay.
So we had to, deal with all that, all the sewers. I tried to avoid all that, those meetings, but it was a big process, Luckily, we had partners that are develop a lot of buildings, and they knew the right people to call and everything. But it was a couple-year-long process.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to pull off.
Yeah, and we're still working on it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You want to give us a tour?
Sure.
Yeah. So I recognized this immediately from Southport Lanes. What else? Tell me more about what's in this room.
There's Southport Lanes, the mural. A part of a cabinet is on the back bar there from a hardware store. What else do we have? The rest of the kitchen's all new. But right behind us, this blue.
This is really cool.
Blue cabinet is from a grappa factory in Bassano di Grappa in Italy, and it's kind of a neat. We just sold it, but
it's already gone.
Yeah, it's already gone. Yep. It's going to it's going to be the bar at a restaurant. Big wine bottles, tiles from Argentina. And as we buy and sell things, the cafe will evolve. And there's leather club chairs from France and leather couches from England and caramelleras. We have candy for the kids and stuff. Caramelleras from Argentina. Just we'll always incorporate new finds into the cafe.
Well, it's cool how the landscape's going to change throughout as people purchase things.
Yeah. And as they purchase, it'll go out. As I buy, it'll come in. And we'll try to find the right thing for the right spot, but there'll always be something different. Always.
There's really a cycle for everything. So are these individual tiles?
Yeah. They're made in England, 1880s to about 1920. But these I bought in Argentina and Uruguay, and the English did most of the commercial buildings in Buenos Aires and in Montevideo. So there's zillions of tiles there, and I buy every one I can find. We've got tens of thousands of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like tile. To me, it's the best little architectural thing you can get. They're not expensive. They were glued to a wall. They came off the wall, and they still exist. They, you know, they survived. So I always like them, and they're pretty. They're pretty. They're nice.
Through here we have,
you know, this is a dining room, part of the cafe, but also for events, private dining room. The kitchen will be doing full-scale meals. And again, same sort of thing, a little lounge area. We use, these are a couple of big cabinets from Italy, and we outfit them with, you know, accessories and things like that. Chairs from France, some chairs from Germany. These guys are from a factory in Italy.
these are really cool, so these slide out.
They're fun, yeah, they're fun.
That's so cool.
You know, big, this restaurant sign I bought in France. We just thought we'd put it up there. Just, you know, we just try to outfit it with cool stuff. Great big, I think it's 1856 map of Bolivia. Really beautiful, beautiful thing. You know, you don't necessarily need that, but it's pretty.
Looks nice on the wall.
Yeah, it's well done. Rugs and everything else. So, you know, you can eat and buy and just check out beautiful things all at the same time.
It's so cool to walk around and just see a price tag on everything.
Yeah.
You're like, I could buy it.
Yeah, yep. And we haven't got our price tags down quite yet. We've gone through a couple of iterations of them. But by the end of this week, it'll all be settled.
I kind of like this style where it's just, hey, written down, easy, but this has got to be a pain to do.
For 35 years, I hand wrote everything. Now everything was in my head.
Yeah.
Now we have to do like a POS system and all that. It's like, So I write the tags, and then somebody else comes behind me, puts a number, you know, an inventory number on it, and prints it all out.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty and all that. But people used to like when I did it by hand. It's too much anymore.
Yeah, there is something authentic to it, but there's too many things. There's too many. This is a whole system.
And there's other partners involved, and it's not just me anymore. So it's like I know what it was. Well, everybody wants to know what the business deal is. So it keeps it organized, basically.
Yeah. Show me more spaces.
Yeah, come on.
Actually, can we walk through the kitchen?
Sure.
Is that cool?
You know, the kitchen is done by Andrew Holliday, fantastic chef. We're coming through, you guys. It's Mike. Mike, are you the executive chef? Is that your title? Chef de cuisine. So Mike makes all the magic happen.
Hey, Mike.
And beautiful, brand new kitchen. Brand new kitchen. These guys make fantastic food every day of my life since I was 18 years old. Literally every day. And these guys do a fantastic job. It's really not just saying that because it's part of the deal, but really is great. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
So, you know, as you wander through the school, like, there's big giant propeller from a Italian Air Force airplane, old clocks from European clock towers, more maps. One of my favorites is this cafe sign.
Yeah.
Came out of Chicago.
Where was that?
You know, I bought it from a sign company in Chicago. They had it laying out in their yard. They would not tell me where it was from.
Okay.
But it's 1903. We're getting it rewired so it all lights up and
that's
everything. Big. This is one of my favorite things too. Big cabinets from Italy. It's from one of my favorite dealers in Italy. All painted with a goose quill.
What does that mean? Like
It's-
the quill is made of goose
Goose
feather?
feather, yeah. Okay. And they paint a grain. I mean, it has a beautiful grain already. I don't know why they painted it, but they did. This thing is really cool. It's sold, but it was from a vineyard in France. It's 18th century, and they walked up the stairs to get to the giant casks of wine to play with it and everything and check it. But I really like that, and then it folds up and all that. It's one of my favorite things. Mid-century kind of stuff with the mirrors. You know, you got to have a car in the lobby. So it's one of my. I like cars, European cars.
Yeah.
So it's a '66 Fiat 500, and it's a classic little Italian car. It's you know, it's.
Did you ever drive this?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. We brought it through the front doors, up the steps, but it's the first thing you see when you walk in, so kind of fun.
It came in through the front doors?
Yeah. It wasn't, it was a little bit of swearing and gnashing of teeth, but yeah. We've had others that we've brought in before. Big, beautiful tables, chalkboard from Union Station, sculpture. This was from the first lady of modernism in South America. I bought her studio out. Big wine vats from Italy. All sorts of stuff. We go in this way, and this is our gymnasium, original gymnasium, 1948. People come from the neighborhood. People are starting to take lessons, and Robbie's like our local shark, who will try to take their money if possible, if they're betting. But cool old gym, all original ceiling. We pretty much left it the way it was.
What a good venue space. And you're all set up with the kitchen behind here. And
Yeah. We had our first big party Saturday nights. All, the bars set up here, and just basketball courts. They can come up or down. So really nice for events.
The hoop there.
Yeah. We just put a new backboard on it. Nice. But the pickleball is fun. So this will be nice for events, and we're starting to book it up for weddings and all that sort of thing. Lots and lots of, when you have events, you've got to have lots and lots of bathrooms. So there's bathrooms everywhere.
I saw these signs here.
Oh, it's I used to collect signs from all over the world of bathroom signs. I don't know why. Perhaps poor upbringing or something. I don't know. My parents taught me very well, but I just always thought they were funny. So the dealers from around the world that I knew would collect them for me and give them to me or sell them to me when I visited. So we had hundreds of them at one time, and they're just fun. They're just kind of fun. So, this was an old school, so lots of classrooms, lots of the tile walls and everything, and so we outfit it with stuff. And these are from a big church in Paris. Some things from Chicago, big pier mirrors.
This looks like it's from, built into someme's home, right?
Yeah, from the Victorian in Chicago.
Absolutely.
There's all the classrooms we've outfitted.
Because this. Okay, very cool. Very cool.
So it's not only we're selling things here, but we're also set up for meetings and whatnot. So if somebody wants, I think we've got a big meeting tomorrow. I forget what they do, but they're having a staff meeting. So we'll take this off. These are all javelins, which I don't know how you could live without those. But so they'll have their meeting here. We'll cater it, and they'll just be in a little different setting than their regular office, and so we'll do a lot of that. And there's 6 or 7 different classrooms that you can do that with it. So it'd be kind of fun.
It's really nice.
It'd be kind of fun, and just just different sort of things. This is where did I buy this? Italy.
It's a good place for meetings. You can get your pound of flesh, work everything out.
Yeah, and then come sit and relax, and they'll bring you a drink and bring you lunch. And
what is this?
The urn?
Yeah.
There's 2 of them. They're just big, fancy, wild urns. I don't know. It was part of a big deal I bought, and those came with it.
So do you buy things as big lots sometimes, or are you picking things out individually?
Each thing usually is picked out individually, but that might, in my case, usually turns into a big lot of stuff. Yeah, yeah. If there's one thing, there's usually more.
Okay.
But I will try to buy everything individually. Yeah. So. I don't know what the sale.
What's Baum? What's this?
Good one. So, there's 2 of them. There's this one, and there's one over here. And they are the world's first and second, supposedly, world's first and second I call them the mother boxes, but they were for fire alarms. So one's
Really?
one's from Boston, one's from Baltimore, and they were in the main fire station. And if you pulled the alarm out in the neighborhood, it would go to this machine, and that would alert the firehouse.
Oh, wow.
So they're really rare things. I don't know how terribly useful they are, but they're beautiful though.
How long is it in a museum?
Yeah, it should be, truthfully. And I've tried to donate it to a fire museum, and they don't quite get it, I don't think. It's a wonderful thing. Totally useless, but pretty wonderful.
The box is almost like a casket in a way.
Yes, yeah, I like the box.
The box is cool.
And that one too, it's that one's really kind of sculptural.
And it's open on all ends.
And they're heavy. The
Yeah.
Gamewell Fire Alarm Telegraph Company in New York. Gamewell is still around. They do a lot of alarms and
Really?
security systems, yeah. Yep.
Sell this to them.
What? Never thought about it. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
I bet they want this.
Or just trade them or something.
Yeah.
They do a building for me. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Huh. All right, thank you. Thank you. That is logical.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not like they wouldn't have built two of them.
Yeah.
That
Like
one's completely different from that one.
That's it.
Okay, good. I'll let you know. I'll let you know. You know, lots of wacky stuff in here. You know, get regular chairs, but then there are vaulting. They're vaulting horses from the Czech Republic.
Oh, no way.
So in the Czech Republic, gymnastics was kind of like baseball to us.
Okay.
It was their national sport. So I've got a buddy of mine. We go over and go to all sorts of universities and schools and gymnasiums and buy their old equipment. And people use them for cocktail tables, or you just kind of sit on them. And
I mean, if you want an interesting place, this is where you go and you pick up everything.
Sure.
You don't go to RH, you go here and you get unique, non-custom things.
well, RH for years would come to the old store and send people to take pictures.
Yeah.
And then they would copy it.
I believe that.
And I caught them a few times. And there are things in their catalog that are absolute direct copies of things that I've brought over.
When they were talking about this space, I was like, it's like RH, but cooler and for younger people and like completely different, but same kind of idea. Grab some food or drink, walk
Yeah,
around,
yeah.
buy some furniture.
The one good thing about that, when they did the store in Chicago at the old Three Arts,
Yeah.
we salvaged that building when they,
Oh, yeah.
when they turned it. And so we sold them a lot of things back, which was good. And then they bought a lot for the store. And whenever they're opening a new store, they buy quite a bit from us. So
We just did an interview with Booth Hansen, who did that building.
yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah,
It's really
really sharp.
nice.
They
Yep.
played it off really well. I used to live a block from there, and that I was single at the time. I'd have my meetings at day and I'd have my dates at night, and it would just all flow all together.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very
it
good.
worked out really well.
Very good. They do a nice job, and they're definitely forward thinkers. That's for sure. And I think they're starting to make money. I think so. You know, again, just halls, bathrooms, and antiques. That's what we've got. Should we go downstairs?
Oh, this is cool. Where's this?
This is a good one. It's from the old Red Cross building in Chicago. So they had their own.
Where was that?
I can't remember. Might have been on Ohio Street.
Okay.
But these were under every window, and there was a huge, big zinc.
Zinc?
Yeah, and that's the original paint. The paint's not beautiful, but whenever I get something, I leave it just the way I find it. Just that's how it was. That's how it should be. So, but they were under all the windows. So we're going to be doing here on all these walls in this main floor up here. I've got a big collection of historic pieces just from Chicago. So Frank Lloyd Wright, Louis Sullivan, or maybe it was from the Granada Theater or the Red Cross building. Just strictly known Chicago buildings. A lot of theaters, a lot of buildings on Michigan Avenue, and we'll decorate all this. Everything's been mounted, and we'll make the whole entryway here historic stuff. It'll be for sale, and that way when you come with to a wedding and you're don't have anything left to say to your Aunt Billy or whatever her name is, you can say, "Oh, look at that Frank Lloyd Wright piece," and start talking again.
Yeah,
so it's part of
it's smart.
part of
It's
the
smart.
part of the thought for all that.
We're going down?
Yeah, should we go downstairs?
Yeah.
Back through the back through the entryway and all that.
So is it purposely divided? Because it seems like the majority of things you can buy are down here. Is that thoughtful? Or?
It's the whole school, other than where we're using it for a kitchen and events. So it's the whole school, really. But is it purposely divided? Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, okay.
But this was the biggest open floor, so we used it here. But
How many square feet is this?
I think about 10,000, something to that
huge.
effect, something like that. And we never have enough room, but we try to keep things pretty well vetted, just to put nice things, and keep it where you can walk and sit and all that sort of thing. So you can have your meal, get your drink or your meal up there, and come down and sit here.
And that's okay. So you can just take your food and eat here if you want.
Wherever you want
love
to.
that. That's really cool.
That's part of the fun, I think.
That's really
part
cool.
of the fun. So we use the ceiling for lighting, all that sort of thing. So
if I asked you the questions I wanted to, we'd be here all day, and I want to be respectful of your time. What are some of the, what's something that has a story behind it, or what's something that's worth, everything's worth talking about, but is there anything that really stands out to you?
Oh, I like this. This is one of my favorite things, just because it's so why? But it's a woodworker's vice. They did all that, and a woodworker's table. But if you notice the shape of it, it's all carved out very deliberately, and it was from a violin.
I was going to say a violin. This reminds me of a violin.
From a violin
I was just
factory.
thinking that.
Yep, it's from a violin factory in Italy, and I bought a couple of them. And truthfully, they're kind of my favorite. One of my favorite things right now. To tell you the truth, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just make a table?
My wife's a classically trained violinist.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. So I just thought those are pretty wonderful. I like this thing. It came out of a big pasta factory.
Look at this old slab of marble.
Italy. Yeah, the marble's incredible. Beautiful, beautiful. And here, if you come on the other side, you can. Well, you can see my drawer there, but you can see where they used to display the pasta down there, and then I guess they.
So they're making it up top, and
Yep. So there's big ones of those and little ones. I like that. I like that piece. Another thing I call her Trixie. A big sculpture by
that's cool.
Mid-century Italian artist. She's just kind of nice. I like her.
How do you get this here without breaking this?
That was
This seems so fragile.
We crate everything, and this building has no loading dock, so everything went down the stairs by hand.
There's no dock here?
No, it's the bad part. But we do everything by hand. Dock is much easier. But she's crated up. She survived perfectly. And most things, I'll knock on wood, most things survive pretty well.
So your friend Guillermo is the one moving this all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
but do you have people that are coming with you to package and crate the things?
We do it.
You do? Okay.
We do it, yep. Wow.
So each one of these pieces, you've touched it, you've put it inside.
Oh, yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah. It's the only way. It's the only way. Now, I get it all ready, and G will stay a couple extra days. I'll come back. He'll stay an extra couple days to do all the paperwork, because I can't stand that part.
So you speak a few languages?
He thinks he does. So he speaks English, he speaks Spanish, and he speaks Italian, though I have no idea what he's saying. And he seems to be able to communicate
close
with the
enough,
Italian.
right?
I think it's close enough. So
Yeah.
He claims he speaks Italian. And a little French. He speaks French. So that's always good. That's always good. Yeah. But I don't know. I like all sorts of things. It's a big iron greenhouse here.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
World's biggest woodworker's table. Big, massive thing.
How old are those couches? Where do those couches come from?
They're English. They're probably 1940s, something like that. We still sell a lot of them, though.
Is that a foosball table?
It is. It's a good one, too, because good eye. It's a little different. in that, most foosball tables.
Ooh, this is really nice.
It's a good one. But
I mean, you
can also move them like this. Most you can they're sedentary.
Yeah.
This one you can move back and forth. So
I might be able to sell this for you.
I've got 3 or 4 coming next
Really?
week from Argentina.
This is really cool. Is that where it's made?
This one's Italian,
Italian.
but the Argentina ones, Guillermo and I used to go out to the bars in the country, and they always have them. We'd buy them right out of the bars and then restore them.
So you go in to get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you come in here.
Is there here? I'm terrible at this game. In fact,
That's so bad.
I'm not kidding. That's probably the first time I ever did it. But I lost $1,000 buying this game.
What do you mean?
We were, I bought this one from a dealer, but we couldn't decide on the price, and so I said, "Well, let's play a game to see who wins."
You played on his own?
Yeah, well, that was stupid. Yeah, but I did. Yes. So I forget.
Oh, played original ball too.
Yeah, that's fun. It's fun. So, but we got a bunch of these coming.
This is so cool.
Yeah, it's just
It's massive too. I mean,
it's good, and it's
a substantial.
It's
big
it's a piece of furniture, really.
Yes,
it really is. So just kind of fun. But
what are these?
Coffee dispensers
Yeah,
from Germany. So the beans would be in here. You'd see if you're low enough, and then get that, and scoops.
Oh, that.
And these, what are these? These open it up, and it would pour out. And, we've got some. Every time I see these, I buy them. But we've got some really fancy ones also that are nice.
So this is one by itself.
Yep.
Right? So that's,
Yeah. So we're still doing inventory on them. We've got these on them, but yeah, like anything coffee related is a pretty good sale usually. Lots of big tables.
Oh yeah.
Massive big things. Yeah, these are cute. So little spouts and everything.
Oh, look at this register.
I just bought that.
Yeah.
So it's American. I have
Oh, that's cool.
National Cash Register.
Where'd you find this?
I bought it in the suburbs here.
Yeah.
A guy collected them, and I bought a whole bunch of them. And most of them I just sold to a guy right away.
Ooh, this is nice too.
I used to be able to
I love these letters.
know how you push one and it pops out. Oh, maybe here. I forget how to do it, but it pops out and the bell rings and all that stuff.
It all works?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah?
It did when I bought it, yeah. It's probably been, go ahead.
First try.
There you go.
That's so cool.
That's, when you went to buy whatever in the old days, that's what it was all about.
I would have never thought this was connected to this. I thought this was on top of
No,
this.
so that's why the different ones. I don't know, maybe it was different departments in the store or something.
Yeah. This looks so confusing.
Well, this was an early computer, really.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm not sure how it works anymore. But yeah, it's a cool one. Cool one. All sorts of, wacky stuff like that. Does anybody need this? No, but do they like to have it? Yes.
Yeah.
So
Someone will put this in their house.
Yeah. Lots of big statues and all sorts of things. One thing we do is we're making these QR codes. So, and every piece will have one. We've done a few hundred of them so far. But you go ahead and, I'm not technical, but you hit it, and then there's a little movie that tells you all about each piece. So it'll be me saying blah, blah, blah about this piece.
So you're doing voiceovers on everything? Just giving a description of it?
Yeah.
That's
cool.
Cool.
So I pointed, carved wings, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So that'll be nobody else in the world that we know does that. So that'll be kind of fun.
Oh, and here's all the tile you were talking about.
Tons of tiles. Tons and tons of tiles. We used to have probably a few 100,000 of them. But, you know, people do their showers and their backsplashes and all that sort of thing with them.
How do you get these off the wall without breaking them?
You know what? The nice thing in South America, at least, they're all put on with plaster.
Okay. They peel off?
Sort of, kind of, yeah. But here they're all put on with cement.
Yeah.
And here they're mostly for a fireplace surround. Mm-hmm. But as you walk into a commercial building in South America, many will have wainscoting about 5 feet high, all tile. Okay. So when you get them, you'll get maybe 500 like ones, similar ones, all at once.
Got it.
And they come off fairly easily. So you might lose 1 out of 10. Here you'll lose 9 out of 10. But I like tiles. I think they're cool.
Whoa, those are some big pieces over there.
Well, that's kind of what we specialize in, big stuff.
Yeah?
I just like big. Nobody else has it. And
this is absurd. This is, I mean, that's like taller than a container.
It all comes apart. So it can go into your house, but it's from the Bank of France. It must have been for keeping records or something. And I bought a bunch of these. I like the tags on them and everything.
Yeah, the tags look nice.
All that sort of things. Yeah, we like big things. I don't know why. Just
it's massive. It's grand.
You know, like this. This came out of a backyard in Lincoln Park. It's a dugout canoe. Now, why it was there, I don't know, but it was.
That was my next question.
Yeah, I bought this and a big sculpture from them. But I mean, this thing weighs a ton, literally, and I can't imagine going on a river with that, but I'm sure they did. More coffee dispensers.
Yeah.
We do a lot of display things, like shop counters, so hotels and stores will use it. It's another big vaulting piece. A lot of bar. This is a little home bar from Italy. That's pretty neat.
Whoa.
There's we haven't put it all together yet, but there's all the glasses and accoutrement go in there. Pretty fun.
What was this?
It was a mistake mostly. Mostly is what that was. It was a big store counter, so probably for grain or something, because each of these, maybe for pasta, each of these, the drawers are on the other side.
Oh, got it.
Each of them held some sort of a
because you're on the
grain.
other side of the counter, and got it.
But this was on the 3rd floor of a house, and I just had to have it. We had to hire a crane to get it out of the window, and I never should have bought it, but it was one of those deals, and we have to repair it now, but shouldn't have bought it. Another big giant cabinets, and we like all stuff like that. Bars, little cafe bars from France. So you get your probably a beer from there. There's coolers in here where you put your liquor or wine in there.
That's cool. It's a copper bin too.
Yeah, this is a pretty one. Really pretty one. They're getting very hard to find.
I know you have a schedule, and we just hit the time, and I think there's food upstairs for
Come
us.
on, let's go. Come on.
Oh, I dropped mine somewhere.
That's the other
that out.
problem with this place. If you put it down, you might see it in 3 days.